Met liefde vers voor jou bereid bij McDonald's. De pittigste kipburger op ons menu. Voor iedereen die pittig wil eten of pittig wil daten. De McSpicy. Deze zomer bij McDonald's.
2025 in support of Médecins Sans Frontières. Before we get started, we got a little donation here from Greg Gore giving us $1 and saying, here's to more chaos. Hey, you can always get a cheers from me for that one. And thank you very much. Every dollar does benefit us so well, benefit our charity, of course, Médecins Sans Frontières, and we are so pleased to be able to put that forward. While we make a lot of a deal about all the milestones and the big donations, of course, whatever you can give is sorely appreciated. Especially during this run, of course, as we've got a couple of goals, and I will let Sloth take us into what that means as we get started with our run of Crash Twinsanity. So, my friend, take it away.
Alright, this is Crash Twinsanity, the 5th Crash Bandicoot game. It's an open world platform where you can kind of go around and do whatever. Crash Twinsanity Bingo is a little bit unique, where most goals are kind of what you normally do in the game. Almost every single goal that you have in Twinsanity Bingo is a glitch of some kind. So you'll get to see a lot of glitches. It'll be a lot of fun. But we've added a little bit of a catch here. If I, at any point, get a bingo on my board, I have to start all the way back to the beginning, right here on this beach. During the run, if at any point you guys want to donate to the incentives that we had, which was for the world palette or the pants color, if it changes and I reach a save point where it's safe for me to save and to load the game again, I can take the time out to regenerate the ROM and be able to change it to what you guys end up, being the incentive for. With that, I think I'm about ready to begin. I'm joined here with Dio Chomp. He's one of the top runners of this game. He had the any percent world record for a while. You want to say hi, Dio?
Hello.
All right.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, we can get started. Unless there's any objections here, I'll count us down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll get started. So you might notice the world looks a little weird. The incentive for world palette was not met, so we don't get one. One thing I'll also say about world palette is if grayscale wins, it's only grayscale for the 10th dimension.
And currently, yellow counts as no lead, so that's been sticking for a while here.
So the first thing I'm doing here is called Nut Skip, which usually looks a little better than this. The goal with the Nut Skip is you're going to get it onto the top of this ledge, and you're going to use it to jump across the gap. Because we're going to try to get far into the game as we can on this very first playthrough.
The way this works is this game is split into different chunks when you get close. So if you put this nut in between two chunks, and then you walk onto the nut as it rolls between them, it'll just zip you right forward. And luckily for us, the developers of this game added ways to backtrack different levels, and there's these pillars that come up when you reach further into the game. So that's the intended way to get across this gap here, but instead we just use this nut.
Alright, I messed it up pretty bad. Before we started, I actually was telling Dio about how bad I did at doing Nut Skip in the warm-up. That was worse. I also had vibrations on, which I'm not a huge vibrations fan. Alright, move that a little bit further there. There we go, it's a lot better.
Normally there's textures here to help you know where to place the nut, but...
Yeah, there's no textures here to actually tell me where I'm putting this. Alright, there we go.
Usually there's like a line that goes right across.
There's no visual cues without world palette colors.
Going through here like this skips 2 levels, which I get normally for bingo you wouldn't really want to. You'd want to go through the game normally to get all the goals, but since we have to reset, we'd have to go through those levels anyways with a different, like, in a different playthrough after the resets.
I'm not gonna waste my time on that because typically I play on Xbox, but where we're randomizing it, I'm on PS2. I just skipped another level there. We're going straight to the second hub, essentially.
That right there just skipped this boss fight. There's like 5 different ways to skip this, it's really funny.
Alright, this is a bit tough. So we're going for the first goal here, which is get to the beach on the other side of the pier. I need to be on the correct side of the invisible wall, which I'm not currently on the correct side. Still not on the correct side of the invisible wall. Now I'm on the right side of the invisible wall. Oh. Hope I didn't just soft lock myself.
That would be unfortunate.
That would be actually really unfortunate, like I just did. Well, this is the grand start to the run. I mean, we got a bingo goal and we got to restart. Theo, I have a plan with that one. I think I come back to that one later. Because
Good call.
and I think I grabbed the save point that was right there the next time I go through. These monkeys sometimes get in the way, but that time they were kind of nice to me.
Pardon to interrupt, I'm just being told by tech ask slots to bump up Discord audio a little.
Okay. I can't really turn up Discord audio, but I can turn down the game audio. Which hopefully this is a little better. Alright, we'll try to get the nut back to where it needs to be here. There's effectively no Discord audio. I have Discord essentially as maxed out here. Yes, I will try my best to fix that. Alright, hopefully that's a little bit better now. I'll move my mouse off the screen as well. So I had to die there because if you push the nut too far forward, you can't actually interact with it, which is what I just did. Here, we're just going to place the nut down again. Just slightly jump on it, and then we're good to go. So one set of goals on here that's going to be really annoying is we have both get negative lives and get 99 lives. So throughout this entire first 2 hubs, I'm just going to end up essentially trying not to really pick up many lives at all. Alright, I'll turn it back up. Alright, so we're back to where we were. I am going to just snag this one later. I don't need to get it. I'd rather try to make some progress if I could. So this boat will take us to the second of the 4 hubs in the game. Ooh, this is bright.
Yeah, that is a lot of
Before
weight.
you rises a cathedral of diabolical genius. Scary.
It's way too bright, to be honest.
Iceberg lair could do much goodness in the world. Of course, only I have the key. Absurd. Follow me. I know another way.
Alright.
I don't know where
Alright. I was gonna do mountain skip. I'm not doing mountain skip. It's looking like that. We'll just go through the level ice climb normally. Ice climb's not too long of a level. I don't believe there's any goals for ice climb, right, Theo?
No, I don't.
So I can essentially just speed run through this. So with this level, typically you're supposed to like help Cortex so he can't get into the lab. And it's kind of like the second introduction to like the twin moves. Because the level we skipped earlier, Cavern Catastrophe, introduced you that Cortex and you can work together to solve certain puzzles, and this level kind of builds upon that. And there's some funny gags and stuff. Okay. Alright.
And you don't have any ice climb goals, do you? You have that slip slide one.
Do have slip slide. If it wasn't for the slip slide goal, doing mountain skip probably would have been the right pick. I typically don't do this skip like this, but I thought I messed that jump up for a second. Alright, so there we just kind of skip through a cutscene.
Maybe
Usually-
go down to that tree there, because there's a good plane that will kill you if you like walk through it or just fall through it.
So we're pretty much done with the level at this point. So usually here you're supposed to fight a boss, we're going to attempt to skip that. Yes, I will update the world palette.
This area actually looks very close to what it was.
Yeah, it actually is very similar to what this area looks like. Alright, so this is actually a pretty hard skip. You gotta jump off this N onto the edge of that. And if you die here, the music just stops playing, because they didn't actually intend for you to die in this section.
So an important piece of tech that Sloths has been doing here is called a long jump. If you slide jump, and then your next jump is off a ledge, the speed you have will be based off the slide from beforehand, so you get a lot more distance from that jump as opposed to a normal one. So that's why he does that slide jump on top of the end there.
Yes.
And to do that jump there as well.
Alright. I was a little worried about doing that, because it's kind of hard to see where I actually was jumping to. It all kind of looks the same. So one of the downsides of doing that skip is I now am attached to Cortex. So I kind of gotta go through this entire section without checkpoints. And if I grab one and die, the game will crash.
If the game tries to respawn you with Cortex in a place where Cortex normally isn't supposed to be, that things happen.
Alright, I'm gonna make a save state just to make sure I don't have to spend another 30 minutes doing absolutely nothing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to now go grab Cortex, and we're going to snipe a checkpoint. And then we'll begin on our first goal of this board.
Yeah, for some reason, the developers forgot to just lock that door. Because normally you're supposed to fight a bunch of mutant ants in that room, and then you take an elevator down, but you just walk right out.
Alright. It's like using Discord on light mode. So I gotta bring Cortex all the way in here with me. If I don't, I can soft lock on this like upcoming area. And one thing I am going to do here is I am going to just save the game because I didn't turn autosave on. If I miss a gem, I'll need to reload it. So just gonna make a save here, and we'll come back to it if it's needed.
There, to the sea, I tell you! Our salvation floats upon the briny blue! We must
This
reach
cutscene
Engine's
gets
battleship
a
and
little
quickly
messed up
before it
because
sets sail.
Cortex
But how?
patched you.
Think, Cortex, think!
Cortex will at least be visible because I didn't spin, but you can make Cortex invisible when you go down the slide if you spin with him in this cutscene.
You can also spin through them as you do the cuts, which messes it up a different way.
Alright.
what he's doing here is get all the gems sorted, and some of these gems are you miss and you restart the level. There's a checkpoint and no way to die after it. I think there's 2 gems like that here.
You can get around the green gem if you, like, the checkpoint after it if you miss the green gem, but it's hard. It's probably a reset if I have to do that.
This level probably has the hardest gem in this entire game. There's no reason.
The first half of the level also doesn't really have many gems. You have that one right at the start, and then there's just like 5 right at the end in a row. There's a little chase sequence with the penguins. It's a pretty... all things considered, it's actually a pretty fun level.
If you go off a cliff with the crash on a vortex here, rapidly move your analog stick in different directions and just keep overlapping it. It's really fun.
Oh, I didn't get the life.
Coming through! Ladies? Excuse me, madam. Are those real? Mother?
So that was one of the 2 gems we mentioned were kind of like your one-try gems. Where if I would have missed that, I'd probably have to restart the level. They're not particularly easy to...
You have time for a quick interruption?
Oh, I do.
Because we have $10 in from a French guy who says, from Nitro Speedrun French Restream, we want to see some visual chaos. That has gone towards the World Palette Choice Random. So at the next opportunity, you know what to do.
Alright. That'll be right at the end of this level.
And that yellow gem up there was the second one. So, assuming you don't miss the red gem, then you should be fine.
We're not missing the red gem.
I've seen it happen.
Alright. Say goodbye to light mode here. And say goodbye to this cutscene as well. Because we are going to regen the ROM real quick with random. And Panther's saying yellow, right?
I've never been so humiliated. No amount of treasure could ever begin to compensate.
Treasure, eh?
Yes.
I will take that as a yes. The pants will be saying yellow. Yellow pants. Okay. Alright, and I will close out of this really quick. Alright, and while we wait here, have a little bit of downtime. It'll be sad not having the blindness of the untextured world. And if you guys really miss the no textures, you can always donate to bring it back. All the money goes to a very good cause.
And of course, if you wish to see what the game originally looks like, you can always go for regular.
And we are about done with recreating the ROM. We'll be able to get right back to it in just a moment. Okay. I just need to find the one that I need to open. just double check everything looks right on the stream. Looks right to me. Right, I will quickly get us back to where we were. I don't want new game. Yes. Load. Alright. And this doesn't look very randomized, but it is. We just got a very generic looking, very generic palette. Let me quickly
I think
just...
once we get inside the ship here, things will be...
Oh, that's actually right. Okay. I also need to mark our first goal off. Alright, next we're going for is Mystery Springs, I believe, right? We don't have the swingers on here. Let me find... Right, all gems and slip slide. Alright. So with this goal, it's very important that we skip this cutscene here, which involves kind of just hugging this wall. If we actually activate the cutscene, we cannot do this next goal. And we also want to hit that so we can get back across later.
There's also engine himself 3 times at the end of it.
Alright, so by jumping there specifically, it made a spring pop up, which you may have heard. You may have heard some more springs pop up there, but made these two pop up. And by jumping on these two, it will make another one pop up. Now, it'd be impossible to actually know these kind of exist. I want a long jump for this real quick before I go across that gap. You never find these casually because the triggers are all in very obscure spots to actually get this entire sequence to start. Oh, let me up, please. There we go. You can get on ledges as well that you normally shouldn't be able to by doing a body slam. Alright, so we can jump onto this spring here. And that will open up the very final spring that we need.
This game being so very unfinished lends itself to a lot of wacky bingo goals.
Alright, so this is the final spring, and that is the goal for following the mystery spring, which is somewhere on here. Dio, I might assign you the job of marking goals, because it's kind of like I Spy when I actually have to look for it. So the next one I'm going for, I think, is hit engine 3 times, right? So that means I'm going to be just playing through this level essentially normally until I get to the boss fight. Alright, we got in here in a bad time. Bad cycle with the engine room here. Now we're getting some randomized palettes. Quite like the look of the red battleship. So this goal's actually, I think this goal's a little difficult, but it's not the hardest one ever.
It can definitely get annoying at times. the idea is Engineer throws TNT, and you're supposed to get him to throw them near the things
That didn't work.
Hold the middle part up. But if you get him to throw it right in the middle, you can blow up all three at once.
The positioning can be annoying as well, because like there, it landed on top of his little missile thing, so I didn't hit any of them. But it's really easy to just hit 2 as well.
The funny part about this is when it does hit all three at once, the fight keeps going. It doesn't just end right there. You have to individually break them.
That's not gonna work. Alright. Having the mask is really useful here. Typically, you want to try to like position yourself so you're just on the edge of his missile launcher, and that can usually get it for you. I was too slow there. Alright, this goal can be sometimes a struggle, but we'll get on this next one. After this, the game's going to be kind of casual for a little bit. There's not a ton I can do in terms of speeding this up.
This would be really obnoxious if you didn't respawn with Akko Fun.
That would be very obnoxious. That one should have worked, I feel like. Really? I've not struggled with this much before. Right. It's not the worst thing in the world that I'm failing this. I do need to get my lives down to 0 regardless for negative lives by the end of this level. So failing it here is not actually costing me a ton of time. I don't feel... I'm just jumping late. Like, that's really what it comes down to here, is I'm just really, really late at timing my jump off of it.
A game over here would set you pretty far back, though.
It would. I did make a save state just in case, but I'd really prefer not to have to save state. Oh my god. Alright, well, I am going to be using the save state, because I do not want to have to redo that. That would be like a 10-minute to get back here. So we're not going to do that. That's gonna work. Yeah, that's nice. I just had to lose all my lives first before I was allowed to get it. Alright, so now I just beat the boss normally. If you make him hit himself 3 times at once, he doesn't actually die. You actually have to hit him 3 separate times. In this fight, there's not much you can do to really speed it up. If you're standing by the pillar when he's done shooting the missiles, that's kind of the best you can do in terms of actually speeding the fight up. But in my opinion, I think this is kind of the slowest part of the game. Because there's nothing that I can do to actually make the game faster here. So we'll just sit here. Engine will launch us TNT. We'll wait a little bit.
If you get here with what's called zombie, you can skip a large chunk of it, but unfortunately we don't have that. Regular old engine it is.
I also wouldn't bring zombie into this fight to begin with in a bingo. So zombie's this trick that kind of lets you take no damage ever. So I mean, if I did bring zombie into this, I could have just stood right in the center where I wanted it to hit, and there wouldn't have been really any issue there whatsoever. Zombie's really powerful because it can make essentially any goal I want free.
There is a goal here that requires zombies, so you will see it at some point.
Yes, I need to bring zombie into Rockside Rumble. I actually need to bring a couple things into Rockside Rumble. So, we'll be going to Rockside Rumble a couple of times. I'm kind of glad I didn't grab that, actually, because I'd need to death abuse at some point here. So next goal I'm going to go for is the touch Coco before she gets zapped, which I can do by entering the lab backwards. And then after that, I'm going for the negative lives goal.
The rats are leaving the sinking ship. Tell us where the treasure is, and we'll let you go. Silence! Looks like we'll have to wring it out of him. Embryo, get changed.
Alright. There's also nothing we can really do here to speed this fight up. Essentially hold left while Embryo is out, and then when Entropy's out, you kind of just stand there and spin. If you spin while you're on the ground here, the platforms don't sink. But if you stand on them normally, they sink into the water. So you can kind of just stay in one spot. And if you spin when he tries to strike you with the staff, it also instantly hits him. So we're getting a 2-for-1 there. Saves a small amount of time, and that's really all you can do here.
If you pay attention when Embryo jumps back into the water, Entropy drops down that boat, which is always a funny sight.
All the music in this game is also a cappella, which you may have noticed already. But Twinsanity has a very unique soundtrack. Oh, I spun a little bit too early there. I think I want to face that way. Either facing the right way or I'm facing the exact opposite direction. Oh. That's an interesting color for snow.
To the Psychotron!
A lot nicer on the eyes than the untextured was. Just snag this first, and then we will go for the next goal. So I'm playing on the PAL version of the game, and Coco's behavior between the PAL and NTSC versions is a little different. On NTSC, Coco will actually hurt you, but on PAL, she won't. So, you can touch Coco here, and now we need to go back out of the lab, and we need to get to the other side and watch the cutscene. I believe I can just kind of sneak around here and die to get back to the other side. So I need to burn all my lives here if I want to get negative lives. We need to get to 0. Alright. And now that we have 0, we can come in, watch this cutscene. Cortex kind of just hangs out there if you die like that. I don't know why he does that. I'm not sure if anyone knows why.
Ruined, thanks to Perky here. Must be repaired, and only one person can help. My niece, Nina Cortex. Isn't she delightful? Obviously, I've made a few modifications here and there. Quickly, to my private dirigible. Set a course for Madame Amberley's Academy of Evil. This way.
Alright, so now we're going to Hub 3. So we're going to the third area of the game. This is kind of like a little school area where you're supposed to get Nina to join your squad to defeat the evil twins. But also to pick up a couple extra power crystals. Alright, I'm just gonna wait on this. So, the way this works to get negative lives is that when you're in the airship, if you die at the very front of the airship, you don't game over for whatever reason, you just lose a life. So here, we kind of want to just chill here. I'm gonna pause just to make sure that we don't get a loading screen here. So now we're at -1 lives, and you can tell that if I go to load, you can see, much so, this is not the number of lives I have. That's a big number. And we've disabled autosave, but I think that's actually fine, because I believe I want to go into Boiler Room Doom here.
Ah, yes.
Right?
The
Should
old
be-
alma mater.
It should be
As a
noted that
former
that
student
doesn't
myself,
count. You're not
I'm
gonna
well
collect
acquainted
99
with the many
lives.
secrets
You
this
have to actually
institution
physically
holds.
get them. Or at
Do-
least have the kind of normally go up to 99 for probably whatever you're at.
Do I not have a boiler goal on here? I do not, okay. Okay, so I guess I'm not going to boiler. We watched that cutscene for fun.
We all like to watch Cortex fall down some stairs every now and then.
Alright. We're doing this the old way, I guess. Alright, can I get control of the camera? There we go. Alright, so here we're gonna spaz out with the camera, apparently. Alright. And we want to make sure we're lined up with the hallway below, which I don't believe I can actually use the camera to tell where that is. But I'm pretty sure it's kind of like lined up here. Okay. Do I need to beat this? I actually do need to go all the way through, don't I? Now, the downside of having negative lives is that, well, if I die, I'm very dead. And I will game over. I'm probably dead here. I am not. I made it through. But it also means I need to pick up 2 lives now before I actually gain extra life. I don't have any... What's my next goal on here? It is a rooftop one, right? Okay, it is.
Bring the airplanes to rock slide, right?
I have to wait on that. So we will come back here to get airplanes. I can't because I don't, and I just died. So we're gonna start this level over again. Typically in those like watcher sections, like if they see you, like they have a part where they look and they don't look. If they see you, you just die. You can kind of just go really fast through there, and if they see you, it doesn't lose much time, but where I had no lives, like, it did kind of make a difference. And you can get the airplane stuck on you. I will show that off later when I have to bring them to Rock Slide, but for right now, I just don't need to bring them to Rock Slide. And I can't, because I have to go through Rooftop, where I have to change characters. The gargoyle one's fun. That's what it's supposed to look like the first time. Oh. And we're blowing up here. You can go really fast in this level. But there's a lot of things that you just can easily mess up.
This sheet has a lot of hub 1 and 4 goals. It's definitely an interesting one.
It does. We did not get very many hub 3 goals on this one. So typically with this library, you're supposed to go kind of the other way around. You're supposed to go around every single floor and then, you know, solve the puzzles or defeat the enemies or whatever. But you can also just go backwards and jump on these conveniently placed posts. And then here you can also just jump off this onto this conveniently placed post and get up. And then here, probably one of the biggest skips in the game. You're supposed to play the rest of the level as Cortex, but Cortex is kind of really slow. want to save the game here. We did lose the autosave when I showed off the live, so we are going to save back to the Academy of Evil. It's very, very easy to soft lock in this portion, so I don't want to do that. It's especially pretty easy to soft lock right at the start of this portion here. So we have these frog rooms, and we can skip both the frog rooms, or all three of the frog rooms, by jumping around them. But the zone here can be a little finicky with it. Made it through that one fine.
Yeah, if you land on that door frame there, you get completely stuck.
Alright. We got through that. That's fine. Usually there's a goal for like collecting the lives in this section as Crash, which is always a fun goal to do.
You don't really have to go back and balance here.
I can't jump. Hold on. Yeah, that is the first time that's ever happened to me. I could not jump there. I think that enemy hitting me took away my jump. You know, it's also not a very uncommon thing where you are the first to discover something in the middle of a run. It's almost always detrimental, whatever you find. Alright, there's a wrong warp. We can just skip that room by jumping through it. I am gonna fight the frogs here. You can skip this one. I get it probably 2/3 of the time. I just don't wanna... If I mess it up, we're starting this level back from the beginning, which I really don't want to do.
Skipping this one's a lot more fun.
So you're supposed to count the frogs here. You're supposed to kill like 24. I haven't been counting. Or probably like 18. Oh, we killed enough actually, never mind. Alright, and with that... Now one thing I could have done is if I did skip that one, I could have gotten 99 lives here pretty easily. There's supposed to be a cutscene playing here, by the way, but Vortex is in here. Alright, so here I'm doing Gargoyle and Boss, I believe. So the first one is about halfway through the level, and then the other one's at the very end of this level.
My airship! Without it, we're stranded! Tie it to something secure, I said. Hurry, Nina!
I saw
or you'll
your
miss the
input
bus!
display there. You just held X and circle that entire time. That really just gets you up there.
Yeah, did you not know that?
No, I just press jump and circle each time.
Yeah, you can just hold the buttons.
Stuff here too.
If you don't do that in the final boss, you can usually fall off. I'm just gonna keep going, actually. I probably want to pick up some masks before I get to the gargoyle. But other than that, it should be fine. We'll snag that. There is a pretty annoying goal here where you have to jump around this bell. We did not get that one, so I'm happy with that. But you can just press X and circle here and you'll go up automatically. Alright, the gargoyle is after this next, like, big bell.
The gargoyle will, they stand on these little veins here, and you're supposed to spin it to make it get off and go in the spot so you can hook across. But these ants with their totally not lightsabers can hit it very. So if you stand on top, they'll spin you around.
I think I hit twice. You know, I'm gonna count that. I was on it when I died. Would you count that?
I would count that.
Okay. I also think it did hit it a third time there, because only the weather vane actually spins. And then get across this gap, if you just fall off, you just grab the checkpoint, because they made the hitbox for that checkpoint huge.
You can do the same thing with the one that started earlier.
I opted not to do that at the start of the level, just because I wanted to keep the lives.
I figured that was the case.
So we could go for one of the harder skips in this game here if we really wanted to. We can actually jump to the area in the background, but it's a frame perfect trick, and I'm not feeling frame perfect today. And it's another one of those ones where if I mess it up, we go back a really long ways.
You're able to go for it if you put the checkpoint afterwards, but at that point, it's kind of negligible.
I find it to be pretty difficult to do. When you're on the when you've gone the checkpoint. Alright, so
there's this bus chase section here, and we've got a big old goal here where you have to stand on the bus. You can do it if you don't have invincibility, but I would assume Slots is gonna choose to do that with invincibility instead.
I will do that. So I can stand on this one and up. We stood on it, and we also skipped a good chunk of the level. And here is kind of one of the more boring boss fights in the game.
Found us! To the airship! Quickly!
cheese.
But, you know, we're gonna do the cheese, because
Yeah,
the cheese.
too easy.
Pausing here actually makes it faster for some reason on PS2.
Madam Amberly.
So I kind of do a whole lot of nothing in this fight. But one thing I will mention, right, while we have a little bit of downtime, is we're playing this bingo on this wonderful website called playbingo.gg. And if you're thinking about creating your own bingo, it is definitely the easiest and most intuitive way to actually end up making a bingo and playing one. So if you have a bingo idea that you've been saving for a while, like, this would be your chance to actually be able to implement it and show it off to the world.
So the mentions cheese here, stand in between of the board and stand completely still, and she'll keep zapping the same one.
Yeah, you can just kind of stand like this and she'll just hit the same one over and over.
When I do this, I like to shoot a little bit as Cortex until he strikes the cool pose.
Is this the cool pose, or?
Behind his back. Yeah, that one.
Oh shoot. That could have been bad if I... Oops. I kind of forgot to actually shoot her. I shot all the bells. I was too busy talking about how great and wonderful Play Bingo is, and I forgot I actually have to play the game. Play Bingo is just that immersive.
Excited about Play Bingo. Luckily, Amberly was so excited about Play Bingo she didn't start the next attack.
Perfect, we're all just too into Play Bingo. Alright, so now is kind of a point where we're going to have a bit of a split path. I'm going to have to reload this file at some point. I have two goals that in theory, I can do them both in one pass, but it's very risky and very difficult for me to do so. So I have to bring Zombie to Rock Slide, and I need to bring Airplanes to Rock Slide. I'm going to do the Airplanes first, because I'm right here. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to first get the Airplanes attached to us. Do that, we need to go back to this guy over here. Remember this dude? The one that killed me and caused me to game over not too long ago? Alright, so I'm gonna wait for him to go to, like, Psy again. And I need to stand really close to him, kind of like this. And now he'll see me. And I wasn't close enough. He's T-posing. That should be close enough, I think. There we go. So now we got Airplanes in me. He hurt me, he knocked me out of the guaranteed death that was there before. Oh. I didn't know he had a cutscene there if you ran back. Now we need to take these Airplanes to Rockslide Rumble, which is in the next hub, Hub 4. So we'll just backtrack with these out of bounds. And this... Nope.
You can do a similar thing with the Watchman Totem Hokum level we haven't gone to yet, but nothing actually attaches to Crash there, so keep on going.
Here, we'll jump through here. We gotta go back through the chunk link. One little quirk about the airplanes is every time you enter a cutscene, you lose one. I'm not gonna make this cycle, am I? Oh! Oh! Oh, I almost had that. I will just not die to the dogs, because I don't have a mask right now.
You mean that paper airplane in Crash's face is in a mask?
No, do you think Aku Aku's made of paper? Like paper mache? And wood and paper are pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So essentially, like, the masks are made of paper. Oh. A cool color.
Unfortunately, one of my favorite goals isn't on the sheet this time, which is go to the bottom of the 10th dimension lab.
That's always a good one. If that was on here, that would be a rather difficult one to get.
Oh yeah, in this situation, because you'd have to die to get back up.
Now, as we explore
Yeah.
a new dimension.
And both times you're coming through, you can't really.
But we ran out of time.
Yeah, I have to be alive through it. I don't want to go that way. So we just skipped the cutscene there. And by skipping it, it means we don't have to watch it. And we can go right to Rockside Rumble. We do not have my least favorite goal on here, which is getting out of bounds in Rockside. Theo, have you ever played Crash Tag Team Racing?
That's actually one of the few Crash games I haven't.
Well, there's a volcano level, and it has lava, kind of like what the ocean looks like here, but the lava is actually tomato soup. And it's just a really weird thing about that game. Like, it'll still kill you, but when you jump into it the first time, it'll be like a little cutscene that plays of Crash, like, drinking it, and then a shark eats him.
My daughter, niece.
I'm gonna assume
We must do something.
close enough.
Think, Cortex, think.
Off.
Oh, we didn't get the glitch here. Sometimes you bring the airplanes. In this part, specifically the cutscene, the classroom chaos theme will play and on top here as well. I don't know why it sometimes happens, but didn't happen that time. And with that, I don't need to play through this level because I need to go get zombie when I go through this. So we're gonna go back to the previous save I had, back on Iceberg Lab. We're gonna play through Totem Hokum. We're gonna pick up the goals there that I need to get. And then
There's a lot there.
there is a lot there. I could also get the one I skipped, but I think I'm gonna leave that for now. I want to disable the autosave at this point, because we're with zombie, we can't really have that enabled. So we're going back to the start of the game here, essentially. The difference is we can now go to Hub 4 without needing to die. From a new file, we'd have to die somewhere if we wanted to get to Hub 4. Regardless of the method that we ended up using. Because we have two different ways we can skip to Hub 4.
Luckily, the checkpoint trigger there is so huge that death didn't really matter.
Yeah, honestly, there's faster ways to get down there. Look, now we have battery acid for water.
Yeah,
Right.
those platforms that go up to the blimp that fall down, you can ride that all the way down to the geometry at the bottom of the level.
Oh, we're getting the Song of Shame.
Would be get on the watchtower at the start of the bee chase.
I don't want that one.
Oh, that one's not started.
I want... Actually, I'm kind of glad I didn't get the beach next to the pier, because, that one actually would have been really detrimental. I'm just gonna hit the TNT here. Because, the last one I have to get the AA one, because I have to do AA last. Actually, that means I can do Bodo OB and cross the river.
Sloths wants to do these goals in a specific way so that he gets as many goals as possible without getting a bingo so that he'd have to reset.
The big thing is it's less that, and it's more I want to get all the ones that are really hard for me to get to and will take a lot of time out of the way, and then go for the ones that are right near the beginning last. So, yeah, I don't want to do the watchtower, right? No, that's not one of the ones that are starred. I do want to look at Tikimon from below, though. So we're going back. If I need to, I will save and load, but I don't think I do. Alright, so we're looking for Ikimon. Didn't really want to hit that, but I kind of have to. Alright, we can see Tikimon's hand there. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. I think you can, maybe? But over on the right, you can kind of see his hand sticking out. See the red of his hand there.
So I assume we're counting that then?
Yes, because we saw him from below. I'm going to save and load. I will save onto this Antagony file and then load that. I think loading here is faster than dying, where I might potentially soft lock, and then going through the cave again. I might also just be able to go to the end and jump back in bounds, but I'm not dead set on that. We need to disable autosave. When we get zombie, if we die with it, the game will crash, so we don't want to also save the game while in zombie.
So one of the goals here is skipping all the Cortex chase triggers here. And for the first one, there's a big trigger for a cutscene, so Sloth has to do that. Big skip there, going all the way around to avoid it. The rest of these are really simple to avoid though.
I almost just went right off the edge there. And I fell into the water anyways. That's actually pretty typical for me. If anyone's ever watched me play this game, I usually actually just die at least once on this chase section.
Part of the cutscene here shows Papu Papu and some of the tribesmen just doing their thing. And you can actually see them outside of the cutscene to the left here.
Yeah, if I don't actually think I get control of the camera. I do. Kinda. No, I don't. If I had control of the camera, I could show you guys that. But if I hop...
Like the top of Papu's head there.
If I hop down, I actually can't get back up, so it's not worth showing. There we go. There is a way to get zombie here that wouldn't crash the game if we died, but we wouldn't be able to skip all 3 sections here if we did that. Because it involves having to hit this last trace trigger, and then you have to die when Cortex reaches the end.
Yeah, the way you activate Cortex, or activate Zombie, is Cortex has to activate a cutscene at the same time you're over like a death plane, like water around here. So you could either do that by throwing Cortex at the cutscene trigger, which he's about to do right now.
Alright, I'm gonna make a...
Just fall down. Cortex reaches that point.
I'm making a save state just on the off chance that I screw this up somehow. I don't think I will. I did not. But I wouldn't be able to get a second chance at it if I ended up dying. Right. So next I want to do what? Alright. The goal is go do boat out of bounds and get to the other side of the river, right? That's what it says?
Yes.
Alright, well, we'll do both of those things. We're gonna do it not the way the goal intends. So we will get somewhere over here where we can actually jump onto the other side of the river. Okay, so right here we were able to get onto the other side of the river. And then we can do boat out of bounds. Typically you do this one without zombie, but... And with zombie, you typically also do not do boat out of bounds. You usually just go straight through the water. That's riskier because if you're going through the water, like the only thing that can kill you in zombie is actually down there. He just stopped looking so we can go through here. I'm gonna wait for this guy to look. So the way his view box works is he only cares if you're in his view box when he initially starts looking, so I could just get in there anyways. Alright, I need to do what, just worm chase, do cutscene without worm bounces here, right? That's the only thing. Yes, that is the only thing here. Alright, this one could be difficult. It could take me a while. It also could be not difficult at all. Almost. So I need to get the maximum height possible on these jumps. Like that. Alright. Usually you're supposed to use the worm to bounce you up there, because the worms can bounce you. I'm just going to rock slide now, right? There's nothing that I need. Right? I don't usually do this very first section, because we usually skip this part here. So I'm just taking a little safe. I'm actually just going to take it safe in general. I say as I...
It's kind of a double-edged sword, since you can't like take damage, die from normal stuff, fall in the hole, but you could be stuck. Since the camera's facing in the other direction here, it's easy to just mess up a slide jump, go right down into a hole.
Yes. That's very much so the case. Game's also pretty punishing, so if I were to die, I would lose probably about like 10-ish minutes at this point. So dying's kind of not ideal. Just wanted to get that gem Another thing about zombies, you can't actually hit checkpoints either, unless they're the ones that you can load from.
So the reason the game will crash if Crash dies here, because the game currently thinks Crash is connected to Cortex, and like I mentioned earlier, if the game tries to respawn you with him, and he's not loaded in, the game will freeze up. But since Sloths went through the Farmer Ernest's farm there to get to the boat on that side instead of after Tikimon, the game disconnects Crash from Cortex. So if he died now, he would just respawn without Zombie at the bottom of the lab there.
Yes. So if I died, I would not crash the game. Alright. Skip the cutscene again. Yes, I will also remind you, if you guys don't like the random textures, or if you wish Crash had a different color pants, feel free to donate at any time and we can swap that up. The next chance I'll have to switch it will probably not be for another 15 minutes minimum. Because I have Zombie and I can't actually save and load the game with Zombie. But once I get rid of Zombie, I can reload the ROM with the selections of your choice.
So bringing Zombie here isn't just for the goal here. Bringing Zombie helps with some goals after this. It makes them a lot easier.
My daughter, niece! We must do something. Think, Cortex, think!
Now we get to see what this level actually looks like. So we brought the airplanes in, and now we're bringing Zombie in. Zombie really changes how this level's played. And it'll be pretty noticeable in about 10 seconds why that is. Oh my god, I almost died. Oh, I did not realize I was that close to the edge.
So when you bring Zombie into either of the sliding levels, the game will lock the camera up in some places.
By the way, if I died, I have to start all the way back at the beginning of Totem Hokum, which is where that bee chase was, before we went out of bounds. So, not good. It's a lot of time loss. It's fun to go through the nitros, though, like... Can't stop me.
Normally you wouldn't be able to do that with just a mask like in the other games. With like invincibility.
This way!
So... I'm gonna do the clear gem puzzle one after I do all the ones in Bandicoot Pursuit. Mainly because I could, in theory, die doing that. And I really, really want to keep Zombie for the ones in Bandicoot Pursuit. So we're going to kind of do 3 different goals here. We're going to go through a level backwards. We're going to get that box gem goal, which you might be wondering what that is because there's no box gems in this game. But essentially the goal is to break every single crate in a level, and that includes the nitro crates and TNT as well. So there's only so many levels you actually can do that in without Zombie. But with Zombie, that actually makes this level here, Bandicoot Pursuit, possible. So now we're in Bandicoot Pursuit. I just need to break every single crate. The only crates that are breakable here are the ones there, those nitro crates. So we can just kind of come in here, body slam them all away. And then we can go backwards into the chase. Because checkpoints can be broken an infinite amount of times, we don't count the checkpoints for this. Which is nice, because I can't actually break them open when I'm in Zombie. We are going to kind of solve this section, because Cortex will get triggered. But it's very likely that Cortex will just get stuck. We can get him stuck on that one there. We do that. Alright. Typically, you're not supposed to hit all of them, but where we can destroy all the nitros, it doesn't really matter. We also have the BP cannon. This is a notoriously hard goal, because you're supposed to run off and jump like that. But because we had the zombie goal, we can kind of combine them now, and we can just kind of jump in the water and push it along. Making this goal essentially the hardest goal on this board into one of the easiest ones. Oh, okay, not actually. Okay. Those saws are stopping me from pushing it over. So the way the cannon works and the way it breaks is if you get it so the balls don't actually land in bounds, it can't shoot more. Which means you gotta push it so there's no solid ground underneath the cannon. Which happens if you push it really far to the right or really far to the left. It's a lot easier to go to the right, but if you go to the right, then you have to do the chase typically.
I think most people who do this without zombie choose to go to the left. I think I remember people like not being able to do this on the other.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh,
That is not good. There's no solid ground there. Well, we'll break the other boxes going the other direction, I guess. But that is actually not very good. Oh.
it makes go through a level backwards kind of awkward.
I might do a different level now, to be honest. I'm not sure what level actually would be better to do with that now. I still think Bandicoot Pursuit might be the easiest one. I could technically do Jungle Bungle backwards. Yeah, I don't know what I do now. I could go through Classroom technically. Alright, let's just leave the ball here, and I'm going to hit the exclamation point box. Luckily, I hit all the nitros you can't break without zombie before that, so I can still go through and get the box gem. Although it's pretty easy to do that one with Bungle. But going through a level backwards is going to be tough. Alright, I need to time this up right. That's where it stops, and then I want to go about... I'm committing to it here, and I messed that up. Alright, we're going to go back and grab that ball again. Alright, Dio, we have some on the fly thinking here on what we're going to do with the level backwards. Do I just stick with doing it here in Bandicoot Pursuit?
Yeah, I think you do just do Bandicoot Pursuit. It's such a short level. I think it's still worth it.
And I do have to watch that cutscene again anyway, or go through that chase anyways, if I want to break the canon. Unless I want to go the other direction. This ball puzzle, by the way, is also, like, notoriously difficult.
And there's multiple goals for it.
Yeah, there are, and they all involve doing it without cheating. Because you can just go over to that force field over there, and you can just body slam on it and get the gem. And that fell. Okay. Now, luckily, any of these balls actually can be used on it. I don't have to use the one with the blue gem. I could have taken the green gem one or the red gem one instead as well. Alright. I had to go for that. That was actually kind of like the right cycle too. If I would have slowed down just slightly before the end there, it would have been fine.
There they are. Let her go. Take me instead.
Alright, we'll take this ball one more time. Third time's the charm. I personally find the spears to be kind of annoying to move around, because they're about 1.5 slide jumps a distance away whenever you spin them. So it's always kind of uncomfortable to just leave them. And the spears also blow up if you get too far away from them at any point. Little quirk about them.
I'm so glad we don't have to do this in the speedrun.
Oh my god, make the speedrun so bad. This
I know back.
would have been a good cycle to go for it on. I just didn't know when it was going to pause. I think it pauses here. Yeah. So this will be another good cycle.
I know back when you, Joe, and I did the race for Bingothon, I had a lot of trouble with this puzzle.
This one can be pretty difficult. This last part's pretty generous. So that's solving the puzzle with the wrong spear. It's like solving a glitchless, but you need to be a little bit more exact. So the description of the box gem goal is that if you've broken a crate at any point, you don't have to break it again.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go through Bandicoot Pursuit backwards. So in the last, I guess it's now the last section of Chase, I don't have to break any of the crates.
So you can use the wrong sphere for the puzzle solution in Antagony as well. But you have to glitch a sphere so that it respawns after it activates. Like one of its, like its intended reciprocal.
Struggled a little bit with that.
Yeah, that rock you have to jump on has
It's kind of jank. Now that I don't have zombie, if I die again, I won't get warped all the way back there. I will actually just get warped to the last section I was in. Oop, super slide. You don't see those very often. So where I'm going through without zombie this time.
Now you get the full break the cannon experience.
Actually, no, I have to leave the cannon. I need something to get back across with.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking for a moment I could use the cannon to break these, but it just doesn't shoot far enough. We want to come over here, trigger Cortex to start running. Cortex runs slightly faster if he's off screen, so we kind of want to just ignore him all we can. He doesn't run that much faster. Someone just blew up Nitros. I think it was Evil Crash. These buttons also can be kind of jank. Luckily, they're not being jank. Alright, and then this is the last one, yes. So now we can start going the other way. The Cortex is at the end. He teleports away. Evil Crash jumps onto the purple gem. Alright. Now we're done with that section. So now we get to just do this little jumpy thing. We still can do the spin it and pushy thing a little bit, but it's only when it's above the land, and then we need to do the intended way for the rest of it. Alright, then we just kind of... Hope you guys like the look of this cannon.
I really have to wonder why they made you be able to move this.
Well, you're supposed to be able to turn them, because all the other cannons, like, pivot on an axis. I don't know why they made this one movable. Maybe it's just kind of, I don't know, left over. They also probably didn't expect anyone to just sit here and jump off the cannon for like 20 minutes. So where I died last time was about where it breaks. There's actually a chance I broke it before I died, and I just didn't realize it.
I'm pretty sure the reason it breaks because it goes through the chunk boundary. Like it goes to the next chunk.
Well, if it went to the next chunk, we wouldn't be able to jump on it.
Oh.
Because you know how, like, when we do nut skip, the nut's not tangible if you go too far. Hopefully when we get back to nut skip, I do it a little better now that I have guiding lines. Is this far enough? No. I know it's before this platform. Oh, there we go. It's broke. It is really annoying, CJ, when the nut becomes intangible. Kind of ruins the game, to be honest. There is a chance that I have to go through this section. Well, that's not good. That doesn't trigger him, right? It does trigger him. Okay. That is annoying. We usually don't ever hit that checkpoint, so... There's no way for me to go backwards without hitting that, right? Like, I actually have to. This time we don't have to deal with the rest of the garbage here, like moving the cannon. I also think this is more enjoyable than if I would have gone the goal where I have to try to body slam on Cortex's head for 30 minutes. Alright. This time I'll play it a little safer and not perish into the water. Now, luckily, the other chase sections, I don't actually really need to worry too much about. Like, I probably don't have to go the other way here. But yeah, throw your fire, then I'll hit you. Alright, here, I should just be able to jump across. Alright, and Cortex is not going, so I'm fine to keep going back here. I'm just gonna hit everything just to be completely sure. This one I think I do need to do, right, Dio?
Which one?
I actually have to go through this section of the chase, right?
What for?
Well, is there a way for me to get back to the start of the level?
Yes.
There is?
so.
I don't think it's a blind jump from here. I'm playing it safe. I'm just gonna go through the chase. That's also the box gem goal, by the way. Because all the crates are now broken. Alright, that's fine, that's fine. Actually, I didn't need... I could've... Yeah, Dio, I should've just gone for it, because... Where's... Do I even need to... This is literally the only thing I need to be over here for.
Might as well pick up that green gem.
Yeah, pick up the green gem, just sit here. If you guys are getting sick of the yellow pants, you can always donate to swap those out. Or maybe you wonder what this world actually looked like without the randomized colors. A donation could change that. It's for a good cause, too. Alright. Alright, that's complete a level backwards.
There they are. Let her go.
We did not escape the village yet. Escape the village is a different thing. Can you actually not go through that? Okay, that's news to me. Alright, so we have one more goal in Hub 4 that we have left, which is AA ball puzzle without crossing gap. Probably one of the easiest anti-agony goals that are available in Twinsanity. And completing that one will also mean that I get a bingo, which means we will now be starting over after this. Unless I wanted to do something else before I did that. That something else would have to be escape back into the village. Yes, it would have to be that, because everything else makes a bingo.
Victor and Moritz's stronghold of evil.
Not the stop the bouncy
This
crates
is
and
where
jump
we
over.
wrong the rights.
Yeah, I could do stopping the bouncy crates as well. I could just bust out those 3 next, actually. Actually, regardless of whenever I choose to do stop the bouncy crates, I'm gonna have to restart the game anyways. It's just too far out. Could have to do warp to a secret beach with it, and that's just not gonna work out. Ooh, the green looks kind of nice. Please don't crash my game. I forgot I'm on PAL. That ant can crash your game if you don't kill it like I just didn't. That took them forever to get over to me.
A lot of things can crash.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can crash the game. There's been a lot of things I've been doing to prevent the game from crashing this entire time. And there's been quite a few areas where if I did happen to mess up and die, the game would have just crashed as well. So if you body slam these ants, they instantly die, but if you spin them, they have like a death animation that takes some time. And when they disappear completely, that's when this force field opens up.
And to have that body slam kill them, they have to be like beside Crash instead of right on like below him.
That one didn't work. Oh! Hey! Hole in one. And that's our first reset.
Bingo.
That's a bingo right there. Alright, I think the next one I do is... I think I do escape back into the village and then escape the village. Alright.
Luckily, the rest of these are in Hub 1, so it'll be pretty quick.
You'll get to see a lot of nut skip. You'll get to see a lot of, yeah, you're gonna see a ton of nut skip. Each is pretty normal.
Randomized palette here is really subtle.
I mean, the water is different.
That's purple, but like I thought it just wasn't randomized before. That's how subtle the rest of it is.
You know, I think the untextured world was a mistake. Because I struggled a lot with that at the start, because the world wasn't textured. For next time, if there is a next time with twins, I will remember that untextured world is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, that was a lot more blinding than expected.
I only ever had actually played with it in Cavern, which is the darkest level in the game.
Yeah, if anyone wants to be a little chaotic, that's still an option.
Yeah, if anyone hates me, it is an option. It's $11 away. Actually, $10.01 away to having me be blinded and unable to see any of the visual cues I have. This time we're not grabbing Cortex because we do not want zombie. Now, if you also really love Bingothon and want to see me go over estimate, donating to that incentive would really make sure that happens. Alright, so that's that chase section again. I think it's the last time we're going to be going through this section.
Yeah, the next time we go into this level, the goal is right at the start of that. This skip here, boat out of bounds, is a really annoying one because of the geometry of this tree. And I like to give names to things that annoy me, so called him Gonzalo for the longest time.
You know what would make this a lot easier here, Dio?
What would that be?
If I had, like, you know, a nice cold drink and a Bingothon mug. And you know,
Sounds amazing.
if you donated $12, which is also how much you need to be able to change the bid war for the world palette, you could get entered into a chance to be able to get a Bingothon mug.
That sounds like the perfect deal to me.
It really does. Perfect reason to donate. Oh, shoo. Oh. It's funny how that all lines up.
So we've got two goals here. Ironically, it's escape the village and then escape back into the village after the chase.
So we gotta escape the village second, though. We have to escape back into the village after the chase first. But otherwise, I'll get the bingo too soon, and I'll have to come back out here. Alright. This is not how we typically do this skip, but I'm doing it this way because I just feel like it, I guess. So I did mention earlier how we don't usually play the first part of the chase, because that's what we usually do. And without a zombie, I can kind of just go fast here, because if I die, the punishment is death, and not soft
I
locking.
don't like that.
So yeah, if I would have done that with zombie, we would be starting Totem Hokum over. Alright, this is actually kind of difficult, but it's kind of not at the same time. Like, you just run around the outside here, but there's one part that is really finicky.
It's a lot of jank with the camera. It really likes to fight you in this game.
Here we kind of want to... The issue is I don't know if I'm in the right chunk or not. And I won't know until it disappears and I fall into the void. And I'm not. I'm back. And I'm in the void. But yeah, I think you can see why that's difficult. The alternative there is to fall into the void. Or not fall into the void. Fall back in bounds and then climb back up with a tree. Which I think I might do here. so now we're in the right chunk, and I think this is the tree I want to use to get back up. Alright. Which branch do I want to jump on? Probably this one. Maybe. Actually, it has to be this tree. It's the only tree here that actually gets up high enough. This branch... No, a branch does not have collision.
Their decision making on what has collision or not is very weird.
And that does not have collision. You can see there's kind of the tip here. We're going to want to try to jump from here to that, I think. Right? Just making sure it's the lowest point. Yeah, for here, this is definitely where I'm going to try to go. No. I think I want to be on the big branch, though. I think the big branch is definitely the one I want. And I want to try to get onto the tip of it. Okay, I think I am on the tip. I can go a little bit further. I'm on the tip now. I am. Alright. And that's probably the ledge I want to go to. Alright. There we go. So we're back up onto the edge. We'll go around. Now we're back into the village. Alright. On the off chance I die, I'm grabbing this checkpoint again. I'm just doing this all the fun ways to be able to get through this section. So I'm supposed to jump up into that window and then around, and I think I might have just lost the worm. And I did not. I should have just done that the normal way. That was actually a lot harder than it needed to be. So, escape the village is backtracking from here back to that like beach section we were before. And we'll do that by jumping on these things. So the blue ones have different collision from the yellow ones. And the randomized palette makes it very easy to be able to tell which ones are which. And with the blue ones, I just can't jump on the tall one and I'll be fine. There's like a tall one in each set and I just can't jump on that one. Alright. And then I want to jump here. And there we go. Escape the village. And that's a bingo. And we will start again. Guess we can get on the watchtower at the start of the bee chase. Or I could just bust out the hard one and get to the beach next to the pier. Probably do that one.
It might be best to just knock that one out sooner rather than later.
Knock that one out before I get too tired. Knock that one out before we get a palette change, and then it really becomes difficult. Look how easy that was compared to when we first started. Bam. You get to see that at least one more time.
For the 99 lives one, are you just gonna go through cavern?
Yes, I will go backwards in the cavern. Might do that one last. Because that one involves a lot of just sitting there and waiting. So, if I get told, you know, we start running over, that one has some, speed up potential we can do for it. If need be. No. Some off-camera grinding, some would say. Now, this goes a lot easier if you beat the boss, because then you get free cam instead of, not free cam like we have now.
It also helps that we're not being blinded.
Oh, where am I? Okay, I'm not soft locked. Well, I need to just figure out where I am real quick. Okay. Alright, I'm struggling with this jump here, Dio. Alright. There's an invisible wall here, and we're trying to get to the other side of it. There we go. That time we did it fine. So we tried to do this right at the start. I'm actually glad we didn't, because we would have gotten bingo earlier than I needed to. And that jump there was, like, impossible with the no texture. Alright, and there we are. We're on the beach next to the pier. Typically, you can't get here unless you do that. Alright. 4 more goals. 4 more resets. Well, 3 more resets. Angry Demon Noises, thank you for the raid. Here we can get onto the top of the B tower. I think it's probably the hardest goal remaining, other than the 99 lives. So we get to do nut skip again. Alright. That might be a little far away. Fine. Oh. Me messing up that slide doesn't really hurt, because I have to wait for this section to load anyways. We're going back into Totem Hokum.
Yeah, I'll explain. So, if we take that nut at the beginning of the game and bring it to the top of that hill there and put it in between two sections of the game, and you walk onto the jump onto the nut and walk forward, it'll just zip you right across the gap there. Now for an explanation as to why that happens, I don't think anyone has.
Game just works like that.
We know a lot about this game, and there's also a lot of things about this we don't know.
We don't know a lot of the why. Alright, so we set up a long jump there so we can make this gap. I don't know how doable this one would have been if I had untextured on, to be honest. Alright, so that is onto the watchtower. I know I made that look kind of easy, but that one actually was a pretty difficult goal to do.
I think the most annoying one left here is the haystack one.
You think the haystack? I don't think the
Getting it to where
haystack
it's-
is.
Yeah, I think is annoying.
You gotta do it like first try. So, unfortunately, I only ever play on Xbox, and right now I'm using a PlayStation emulator. So I can like randomize the things and all that. There's a way to skip these two cutscenes. It's free on Xbox. It's not free on PlayStation. I don't know how to do it the right way on PlayStation. So we get to watch this cutscene twice. So we're gonna do...
Slide.
I'm gonna do the warp to Secret Beach first, and I'll do the bouncy crates.
So we're using the same principle as Nutskip, but with this haystack, we can warp to a beach that you normally can't get to. The spot we need to put the haystack in inside this tunnel, which also means getting it up over this thing, which is the annoying part that I alluded to earlier.
Not that bad. I've sometimes spent like 10 minutes trying to get it over that gap, to be completely honest. Alright, let me... The nice part about Play Bingo is I can put comments on these to be able to read what I need to do. Alright, I need to have it on the right side, which is... This is in the right spot.
Yeah, luckily this is just flat ground, so you just jump onto it and walk.
Alright, look, we're on that
opposed to the
beach.
rolling around nut at the start.
So we're gonna do what we just did again, essentially. So let's run it back. Only one more reset left, and then we're going for the final goal. And then we're on to the final, bingo of the night.
Yeah, that one's a lot more bizarre to watch happen as opposed to Nutskip, because at one moment you're inside this tunnel, and the next you're at this random beach.
a lot of those skips, if you were to do them, just kill you when you do them, because you just teleport into an area where there's no geometry whatsoever. Now, what would have been funny, Theo, is if the splash we needed to get to Hub 3 was where you got warped to with that hay bale, so you had to do that at the start of every 100% run.
I think at that point, really, Hub 4 would be faster. Or at least more worth new.
I think that doing the hay bale thing could be faster than what we currently do for it if you did it perfectly.
Yeah, but when you die, think about how far back you respawn.
Oh, that's true. That is true, because you can't hit this checkpoint and go backwards. Actually, hold on. I'm taking this checkpoint. Because,
Oh yeah, that'd be awful.
it wouldn't be the worst thing. But you can die there to no fault of your own. So there's some bouncy crates. Yeah.
It's true. Blondes do have more fun.
Messed up blonde skip. Should've just gone for blonde skip. Yeah, you can just randomly die here when you try to body slam these. So that's what we're trying to avoid. There we go. There we go. That was easy peasy.
One more left.
One more, and this is probably the longest early game goal that is on here. And it's probably one of the more difficult ones. I think backtracking the cavern's actually kind of hard to do.
Yeah, definitely.
And it looks like I have 19 minutes left on my estimate, which hopefully I can do it in 19 minutes.
I honestly wouldn't blame you if you just went through Bungalow Cavern regularly. But where's the fun in that?
Actually, it would be safer for me to do that. Like, I would definitely get it done under estimate if I did that.
Yeah. But then we wouldn't get nut skip one last time.
Yeah, if we wouldn't get nut skip one more time, we wouldn't get the joys of going backwards in the cavern. And this is one of those goals I could have done earlier if I wanted to. I could have done this in Rooftop, which would have been easier, but I had a higher chance of soft locking. I'm struggling with nut skip again. And actually, at this point, if you haven't already, you should close the incentives, because I don't have another opportunity to change it.
Well, there is a world created right after this, isn't there?
I suppose if someone got a donation in right now, like, they're currently entering in their credit card information and all that, they would be able to. Actually, they might get a little bit more time, because I think I just really botched that.
The game's really getting the most out of this last nut skip.
I really am. I'm experiencing the full joys of nut skip here. You know, this used to be a goal back before nut skip was actually like a thing, was to get the nut to the top of this ledge. So,
The beautiful irony.
it was a joke that the nut would be used to skip Cavern Catastrophe. And now it's a reality.
There goes the nut. The last nut skip. Say goodbye to the nut, everybody.
I could still die.
Don't die in here. Come on.
I mean, with how the rest of this run's been going, I wouldn't be surprised if I just did something like that once. Oh, we get to watch cutscene. And we're not watching cutscene. Alright. So here I want to ice physics my way up. I hate this. This jump in particular, I really do not like. Almost. Yeah, you can't get the camera behind you, so it's really hard to angle it the right way. Can I still make this? Or am I actually gonna have to... I think I need to die here. I don't think I can do it now that I broke that crate.
It's probably possible, but there's no point in trying.
Yeah, that's kind of things, because, like, I just need to get in there with one life, essentially. Well, I actually would prefer to go in there with, like, 3, because if I screw it up, then I at least get another shot at it.
That would be tragic, hitting all the way in there. Not having to set it. If you mess it up.
Yeah, seafood is kind of counterproductive to die here. Alright, last time was a little too far away, so this probably works. Yeah. We just can't jump on that normally either, because we need a long jump to be able to go backwards across the gap. So I have to slide jump onto it. And then here's the other really annoying jump, is this one here. I need to jump into the top crate there, and then not do that.
Done this.
I've done it plenty of times. I usually don't get it on the first try. So yeah, I need to jump into the exclamation point crate, which if you've played previous Crash games, you should know what that does. It blows up all the nitros. And I also need to jump away from the exclamation point crate at the same time as I'm jumping towards it, so I don't blow up to the nitros. Almost. Nope. Nope. If you ever play Balatro, it's kind of like when you use Wheel of Fortune every time I jump on this. I get it about as often as I land a Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, exactly. Never.
It's 1 in 4.
Supposedly.
I pulled back the wrong way there. If I pulled back to the right, I would have gotten that. If I die again, I'm going to intentionally game over so I can get more lives. There is an extra life crate in there, and there's a lot of Wumpa in there as well, before I have to do the trick, but... Almost. Actually, that life crate there, I'm pretty sure is actually impossible to get. I've never seen anyone successfully collect that life without dying.
I can think of a way to get it, but it would be awful.
I cannot think of a way to get it. Alright, so what I need to do here, now that I've done it, is get to the other side of that the cutscene I'm watching here. That just took forever. We will see if I quickly grab this life here, and we will die. What I need to do...
Backtrack quite a far away here.
I think I did that right. Did that look right?
That looked right to me.
Okay. Alright, so now we just chill here and wait.
Assuming it did actually work, that would suck if it didn't.
I think it worked.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, we just wait here for a while. Eventually, you'll see the Wumpa fruits start to go up really quickly.
Yeah. This can take like up to 10 minutes to start working. And we got 9 minutes left on our estimate, so well, let's just hope we get the good luck and it starts pouring in the money a little sooner. But yeah, this was Crash Twinsanity. Quite a different change of pace in compared to the other bingos that you guys have seen this and this marathon. Want to give it a try yourself, you can go and play bingo and play at any point. I personally would like to see more Twinsanity bingos, but not many people do. Well, play Crash Twinsanity and then do Twinsanity bingo.
The hip things to speedrun it. Apparently.
Yes, I've done speedruns of this game. I held the world record in all levels for like a year and a half, I think.
While we go through this apologetically gripping gameplay, I must admit, I'm sad to even take one iota of attention away from it. There are just a few quick things to mention.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to say that we have received a donation here from BTF Flotsam to the tune of $1. who says, "Hey guys, I heard that Pink Batman really wants us to donate for the meme one." The meme one? What could that mean? Well, of course, there is a bid war that is currently open for The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. That will, of course, be happening later on after the official finale. And there is a sprite choice for it between Bunny, Kirby, Luigi, and Meme. What does Meme mean? You'll have to find out. Currently sitting $59 behind the front runner, so there's a lot of pace to make up, but there's time for it, so we'll see what can happen there. But the other thing that I've got to mention is that it's the end of my shift, so I'll be handing over closing here to our friend and yours, Pikastraw. With that, I've been very appreciative of taking so much time during this marathon, playing a bit of the old host bingo and so on and so forth. But I bequeath the seat to the oncoming host and bid you all a good morning.
Hello there, and thank you, Prozac. Yeah. I'm sorry, CJ. I cursed it just by coming onto voice chat. Cursed it just by coming onto voice chat. We have a stream. We have a stream.
Back. Are we ready to finish the run? Is that how back we are? Okay.
Not Pink Batman is offline.
Hmm.
This begs the question: who is Pink Batman? Yeah, let's get the VOD of quote unquote part 1 ready.
When Rob wakes up, he's gonna be pretty disappointed to see all the blind bingo redemptions we've made.
Oh, I bet you will love it. So I've got a clue. Can we actually be heard on stream? Even if we're ah
Oh, good.
good.
Well,
Well, I will say, I think this warrants a reminder. I think I would love to see this bringing forth any meme donations for the meme sprite for the Link's Awakening sprite choice bid war. Wink, wink.
I see IHOP is getting some free advertisement.
yep.
Oh yeah.
I did turn ads off, but
Yeah,
thanks for you
pre-rolls.
just joined pre-rolls. Should run ads when the stream was closed. Okay, are we ready to finish the run? Are we ready to finish
yes,
it?
yes,
Here we
yes.
are. Ready?
I see indeed.
Oh, 97, 98, 99, let's go! Blackout
we did
bingo! Woo! Oh, shoot, we both clicked at the same time. Let's go! We're done! Woo!
Let's freaking go. Well, that was an eventful end, but here we are. Well, how do you feel about this blackout run? Especially having with all the restarts.
I mean, it could have gone better. Could have finished under estimate, which would have been good. It would have been the fastest I've done this. But you know, things happen. That's why you build in the extra time. But I think it went fine. Dying with zombie in the middle of the run definitely was bad. And the time I was playing with the untextured world was also bad. But other than that, I think it went fine.
I mean, you talk about estimates, but looking at the time, like if it wasn't for the obviously the tech issues we just had, I think you probably have been underestimated. Well, it's very close to estimate, so that's very good.
Yeah.
And it is a very challenging run. So, all things considered, you did a great job with it.
I think so. Like, I know it's probably the hardest bingo that you can do is the Twinsanity bingo. So I'm just glad I was able to showcase it, show it off to the Bingothon community. Maybe we get a couple more people to do it in the future. Maybe like Rob.
All right. So just before we move on, I'm just gonna ask. I'm gonna put the info in chat. But where can people find you again? On Twitch, I imagine.
Yes, you guys can find me on Twitch. I don't stream a ton. You guys can also check out Dio Chomp, who also streams on Twitch at Dio Chomp. Right, Dio?
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
No problem at all. Thank you guys for being here. And with that said, it is time now. We shall move on now to an intermission, after which we will be getting to the closing ceremony. And after that, we will have our bonus run of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX Randomizer. So stick around, and we'll see you in just a bit. See you all.
Oh shoot, I have a blind bingo to do now. I'm assuming it's Jet Set Radio Future.
Oh wow. Oh god.
Oh, you have one too, Pika.
Yes.
Okay. I need to get to bed because I have to be up in 2 hours. But thanks again, guys, for